We are live. This is the Benchcast. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast today. Tuesday episode. We take live questions through YouTube Live, Instagram Live. Shoot the shit, talk about benching, how to get your lifts up. Have a great time on here. So if it's your first time listening, I appreciate you joining in. Tell a friend if you get anything out of today's episode. Let one of your buddies know. Tell them, hey, Tuesdays, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, Coach Ben's going live. All right. Happy to take all your questions today. Going to be relying on some of the questions from YouTube and Instagram that we get live here. We didn't get a ton the other day in terms of questions, but I did want to touch on some different stuff. So excited to take any of you guys' questions on how to bench more efficiently, bench pain-free, and then just get stronger overall. Doesn't have to be bench either. We can explore other lifts as well. Sip of coffee to the working man. Got my Florida mug, channeling the Florida vibes because today's cold and it's rainy. So I'm looking out the window of my office here. It's cold and rainy, guys. I don't know how it is over near you guys, but channeling my inner Florida here with the Florida mug. Sip of coffee to the working man. In other news, we got a couple new apparel items out. We have the Pause Your Reps t-shirt. We also have the old school athletic tee. Big Benches established 2016. So go check that out, bigbenches.com. My dog here already ripped up my nice camo hat, so now I got to replace my camo hat. But we got plenty in stock. We got reds, we got blues, and we got camo. So all that's on the website as well. We got a question here from YouTube. Harminder Sidhu, thanks for joining in, buddy. Hello, Coach. I have a problem of shoulder raise on the bench. So what I assume that you're meaning by that, my friend, is that when you're going to press, usually it's when you go to press, your shoulders are drifting up a little bit into this shrugged type of position, right? You want to keep them tight and packed down. So if your shoulders are raising up, I found that activation work is really, really key for that. And I've stumbled on this nice little drill I call Big Ben Hold. And I've been hitting that every time for my bench sessions. It's really, really helped because I would get that too if I didn't get a sufficient warm up in. So I've been doing the peanut ball on the T-spine. And this is all going to be in a video coming out soon, YouTube. But I do the peanut ball down the T-spine. So it's two lacrosse balls put together, runs down your spine. I also will do scap warm-ups. So I'll do a scap pull down, and then I'll do scap retractions. So just working like a pull down motion, but only using your scapula, not trying to like finish it with a full row or pull down. Retractions, just trying to bring the arm back, pinch the scaps, full protraction forward, just getting some more motion in that area. And then the Big Ben Hold, which is on YouTube, just that portion. I would encourage you guys to check that out. That's a great activation drill. Man, the difference I felt with that, just having that opportunity to really torque into the band and get everything activated and tight that I needed to, really transfers over to the bench well. So hopefully that helps you out, my friend. That's what helped me a ton. Sip of coffee to the working man, a deal. You got the right idea, my friend. Eric Bell, great question. Belt or no belt when benching, Coach? So a belt is not, let's just clear this up first. You shouldn't be looking to actually gain anything sufficient on your strength by using a belt. It's not going to work that way for the bench press. Um, Not the way it's going to work with squat and deadlift, where you can get a shit ton out of your belt from the bracing because it's that axial loading. We don't have that with the bench press. Okay, so a belt is really preference. I like the belt because it gives me that target. Not always the breathing too, because you want to breathe, think more like breathing into your touch point to expand that area. But I like having the belt there as just that added compression, something that I can actually push into with my ab musculature. So I like to wear the belt. If it hinders your arch, then I would ditch the belt right away because positioning is going to take precedence over anything a belt's going to give you. So I would definitely, if you're finding it making it a little bit difficult to kind of maneuver on the bench or stopping from arching fully, then I would ditch the belt right away. So really personal preference. Bench belt with a bench shirt. If you're a shirted lifter, that's a good thing to have. Those are much thinner, meant for arching over. But yeah, definitely not necessary. Paul Carter recommends to not retract the scapula on the bench. Thoughts? So that can probably be misconstrued a little bit because I don't think he would ever tell anyone not to get their back tight. So maybe he's thinking it in lights of something else. So I don't want to, have missing context there. But I don't see a scenario where you wouldn't tell anyone not to retract their scap and to get their upper back tight. That's a real critical component of the bench press. So I'm sure, he's touching at something a little bit different there because I know Paul Carter is a fantastic lifter and coach. I'm a big fan of his Strength Life Legacy book I did read, and I love the squat program in there. I think Strong 15, something like that. Excellent program. So yeah, no, I think he's if he's saying that, it's probably in a different light. Probably still have to get your upper back tight, but I don't know the context. Sip of coffee. Let's go to Logan Barbell. Thanks for joining in again, my friend. What size metal jack briefs do you wear, and at what body weight? I got 48 aces, and the legs are pretty big. So I have the exact opposite of you, my friend. I guess I don't have enough junk in the trunk, but there's never enough padding in the ass. The ass is never as tight as I want it to be. Because if I got fitted for the ass, the legs are too tight, way too tight. So I'm very much leg dominant, quads. It's always something that grew real easy for me, and then really lacking, I guess, in the glute department, which isn't great. So definitely something I've been working on, but that's been my issue with metal products. That the legs are just so tight for me. So it sounds like you have opposite issue there. I'm actually wearing a size 48, I believe. It's either that or 46, but I'm pretty sure I got a 48. And yeah, so it's kind of the opposite for me. The hips, fit kind of snug in that, but it's really the legs that lock you up for me. So I guess we just got opposite problems, my friend. We want to see you fight Paul Carter in a chess match. Well, I don't know how much chess he's played, but I played quite a fair amount of chess in my day. So I don't know. That'll be a good one. Chess is a good game, guys. A good strategy. Good strategy game. They say wise men play chess. Do you have any books to recommend related to strength or programming? Yeah, so I'm a big fan of like Wendler's 531. I like any of those kind of program-based books because you can always pick things out of them. I like the Strength Life Legacy Paul Carter made there. I used some really good stuff in there. And then Powerlifting for the People, Pavel. That's awesome. I like the Russian kind of approach, kind of seeing something that's outside the scope of like U.S., and just kind of see what's going on other sides of the world. It was a nice compilation of a lot of different things, and a lot of different strategies too, like towards getting stronger. I mean, that's the thing ultimately with programming. It's just so many ways to approach getting stronger. So you really have to kind of just find what fits well to the athlete. That's where the beauty comes in, is being able to make those adjustments and understand what needs to be adjusted and stuff like that. But yeah, those are some great books. And then any of the different books out there on different types of programming, such as block training, undulating, periodization, all that stuff. So there's always something you can pick and choose from everything. Eric Bell, yeah, anytime, my friend. Favorite exercises for lat tightness? So I would, if you're looking to attack lat tightness in light of how it's used in the bench press, like how you're working your back in the bench press, I do a lot of static holds. So I'm a big fan of the lying lat pullover hold, any type of band row holds. I think bands are a little bit more friendly to hold in that static position versus if you did like a straight weight seal row hold or something like that, or bat wings. I really like the feel I get from bands doing the holds, but um, yeah, the bat wings, banded hold, the reverse band bench, you can do that for holds. That's a really good one. So yeah, I would definitely just look to attack what you can versus holds, as opposed to just trying to get strong. So you need those two components together. I wrote an article for Elite FTS a few years back called Big Back, Big Bench. And it was about how to get your back strong, some really good exercises for that. But that not being enough, because you can have the strongest back in the world, but if you don't really know how to use it or create that tightness relative to the bench press, then I mean, what good is it? So I kind of married those two things. The idea of getting stronger back and then utilizing your back strength more effectively. So check that out. That's on elitefts.com. Big back, big bench. So I think you'll enjoy that article. That should help you out. Alan Roy, hey Benny, your info has helped me a lot. Good to see you. What's up, my friend? I appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in. Hope training's going well. Good as can be. Fearsome, I'm struggling to get a stronger bench press. I've been on the same weight for 6 months. So, like I tell anyone, my friend, I would try not to get frustrated, because when you start to frustrate yourself, nothing good ever happens. And I've really been hitting on this motto of, um, you either find excuses or you find solutions. All right, you want to be someone that finds solutions. So have that mentality. Oftentimes, anytimes I've struggled too, I try to think of this phrase because, I've certainly been through my struggles as well. You get frustrated, you get really let down and disappointed because you're working your tail off, things aren't just going your way, and it's very frustrating. So first thing that I would always want to creep into my mind is just trying to think of every excuse in the book. Like, all right, so I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. I kind of got dealt this shitty hand here. But you can either, dwell on those excuses, or find solutions. And you want to find ways that you can, make solutions to those issues. Okay, so right now, I'm having some lower back trouble, really, hindering my lifts, more so the squat and the deadlift, really, in a big way. And I can either find excuses and complain about it, or I can actually do something and try to get myself in a better place. So that's a big motto for me. So just keep that in the forefront of your mind. Have a good mindset when you're struggling. But other than that, if I can help you more specifically, maybe you want to send me a video or something like that. I've been doing the push-pull leg split, but I don't think it's optimal for strength. So are you benching just once a week too on that push day? Because then I would look to maybe try to add a little bit into that as well. So definitely changing things up there. See what's going well. Is your squat moving up? Deadlift, how's that? And then if something's not moving up, then try to decipher what you've done, what you should try going forward in the future. You just got to kind of plug and play some different things. And once you really attack that weak point, it can make a dramatic difference. Let me tell you, last year I experienced that, 2019, when I jumped from I had 730 bench in April to 820 bench in September. I would have never thought that. But I just happened to really strike on the right weak point. Did a lot of upper back training, a lot of good stuff there. So, and fixed some technical issues too. And boy, what a difference that can make. So, once you hit on that one thing, my friend, it's just getting patience to get to that one thing. How I describe strength training, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. All right, you have that big old puzzle. You may have a huge chunk of it done. All right, and you have a huge chunk of it done here. So together you'd have a huge piece of the puzzle, but you're missing one or two pieces. All right, so it's like you have so much done already. You probably have such a good base of strength. You just need a couple pieces here or there, fit them together. When you find the right piece, you got a whole half the puzzle now. So try to keep that mindset. Also suffering from SI joint pain and extremely tight hamstrings hindering my lifts. So you know the hamstrings are tight. I would definitely look to do the mobility work and all the things necessary. I would definitely look to seek out a good PT. Physical therapy is huge, and then something that I do that helps me a ton because I've had shoulder issues, elbow issues. You know, it just kind of comes with the territory, and something that's helped me super healthy through it all. That I notice a huge difference when I don't do it, and that's deep tissue massage. For me, that has to be like a regular thing. That really does help a lot. Otherwise, I'd be pulling my neck every other day. But that makes a big difference for me. So it's just finding that extra work that you may need to keep yourself healthy. Your best is get to PT. So yeah, definitely my recommendations as well. They are the one that will be able to help you with that. Logan Barbell, got tips for a short dude deadlifting. I officially switched to Sumo because it fits my body better and short arms. Yeah, so I'm in the same boat as you there, Logan Barbell. Short arm deadlifter here. It freaking sucks. But hey, you know, I get a huge turnaround on the bench press, so that's a positive. Sip of coffee to you. So, yeah, so if this finding Sumo fits your body type a little bit better. For me, that was a big switch for me because conventional, I'm starting where most would be doing a huge deficit deadlift. You know, it's no exaggeration that I do have a lot shorter arms. And everyone always asks me about my bench arch and bench arch. And, you know, I'm just kind of blessed with shorter limbs for sure, which makes a big difference. You can't really change that. It is what it is. Um, but yeah, so that was a huge change for me because conventional was just it was a poor position, and it's a lot to overcome. And sumo definitely helped me get into a better position. Um, so I think that'll be a good switch for you. Really depends, you know, your strengths too, because there was certainly a time where I would have been a better conventional deadlifter just because I'd done it more and built that up. So you gotta decipher where you're at now. What kind of positioning are you getting in with the sumo versus the conventional, which feels better, and then you know the long-term prognosis of it. Because if you have a meet upcoming like 2 months from now and you're stronger conventional, you're probably gonna want to stay with the conventional, have a good number, but then have that long-term progression in mind. Hey, I eventually want to transition over to sumo. So keeping some more sumo in the program and just kind of making that transition. Adam, what's up, Adam? Thanks for joining in, buddy. Is there a particular breathing fault when bracing on squat that can give you the feeling of your head wanting to pop and busting blood vessels in your face? So I think that just kind of comes with the territory, my friend. You know, I'm big on just take that breath in, hold it in for the entire rep, and especially when you're in equipment, I rarely see anyone who really gets to some appreciable numbers that doesn't have spotting all over their face. And in my eyes, everyone comments that they actually like bulge out. My contact actually went flying across the room the other day, um, bleeding. I'm just sensitive to that too, but kind of just comes with the territory. I don't know if it's necessarily a breathing fault. There's definitely some timing to it. Like for instance, when we went up and deadlifted with Jamie last weekend, one of his suggestions was to breathe a little bit closer to the bar, so we'd actually sit into the suit first, whereas I might have just stood up first, got my breath. We actually sat into the suit because it's a whole process too, getting down to the bar, timing that out, as you know, with sumo, and just timing your breathing a little bit different there makes a big difference. Um, but that kind of just comes with the territory. I know I had a buddy of mine who he actually he kind of got away from quit lifting because he'd be in these meetings with these big shot dudes, and like he comes in, freaking face all red everywhere, blood spots in his eyes, and like it's not a good look. So kind of comes with the territory, some of that. And some people are just more prone to it too, for sure. Like I get nosebleeds like crazy in the winter. Um, haven't bothered to do much about it just because I figure it's going to happen again anyway. I try to use saline solution when I can just to keep all the membranes, um, moist and stuff like that versus drying out in the winter. But I see people who blow their eyes out all the time. I don't always get like red spots and stuff in my eyes, but I know everyone blows their eyes out quite frequently. Everyone's sensitive to certain things. I had one of my buddies there. He bled out his ear one time. It can't be good, but um, yeah, everyone has their different things they're sensitive to too. I'm usually like that. It doesn't take much for me to get red spotting and stuff like that. I know I'm just sensitive to it. You know, if I was throwing up as a kid or something, I'd go to school the next day. Once I feel better, and my face would just be red speckles everywhere. Like, what the hell happened to you? Sip of coffee to you. It's called being in a squat suit. Yeah, Adam's very familiar with a squat suit there, Logan. But it doesn't get any easier, I'll tell you that. Um, it's a lot of compression. I remember reading, what is it called? I think it's called Powerlifting or something like that. And I forget who wrote it, but um, I remember this line. It said, and I always remember it because it's kind of like, when you relate to something, it's like the pressure you get from powerlifting and the equipment, stuff like that, the pressure that ends up building in your body is equivalent to that of when you're having a heart attack. Which, that the kind of line just sticks with you. Um, but it's true. It's just oftentimes I'll lose vision in the eye just because of the pressure. And like I'm really just not seeing out anymore. It just feels bulged and almost like disconnected to the point where I'm just not seeing. Um, so now we'll try a different subject and talking about our eyes blowing out. Moving on. All right. A deal. I can only go up 10 kilogram increments because I don't have micro plates. How to progress higher reps. Yeah, I think we touched on that in a previous episode, deal. I'm not sure if that was you asking that question previously, but what I would do if you're just limited with weight is definitely reps, how a certain weight moves. So if you max out what weight you have, maybe it's kind of slow one day, but then later on training cycle, it's a lot faster, feels better. Obviously, get more reps. That's a good sign too. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can mark progression there. You don't necessarily always need to add weight, but at some point, this is powerlifting, and you're going to need to add weight. So you're going to have to find a solution for that. Whether it's getting to a gym, getting the necessary equipment, but in the meantime, you can definitely do stuff. Would you recommend a massage gun to loosen up the hamstrings? Um, I've never really done the like Theraguns and stuff on a hammies. And I would even look too if you have to. I mean, maybe Matt would be able to comment a little more because he's a PT. But a lot of times, I always found usually if you're just hips in a bad position, when you tight hip flexor or something, it usually gives the illusion that the hamstrings are tight. So usually when people say their hamstrings are tight, it's usually not the case. Um, it's usually that something else is tight, and it's just putting the hamstrings on more of a stretch. But yeah, that might be best. I think Matt answered you a little bit there, so you guys can chat that out a little bit. Matt says, when could you say someone progresses from a beginner to intermediate lifter? What about intermediate from intermediate to professional? Um, I mean, I would say those are just kind of general terms. I mean, what really classifies someone as professional? I don't think there's a standard like weight you got to get to. A lot of the times those words just kind of get thrown around. Um, I know in some feds it's like once you've done 3 meets, you're now intermediate. You're not a beginner anymore in terms of what meets you can sign up for and things like that. So, um, yeah, that's I think more just a general term. Um, you could be competing 10 years and doesn't really make you a professional. Maybe if I'd say consider yourself a real professional competing in like the top 20 of your weight class every year, something like that. We're just kind of making guidelines up for those terms. A deal. How can I join this bench cult? So if you are interested in joining our Facebook group, it kind of works like Patreon. So it is $9.99 a month, and I post up additional content there, and we have a great community of lifters that all help each other out. So it's our own little Big Benches team community, and there's a permanent discount code for everyone on the VIP membership. It's 15% off our website. So if you want to, I think one of the biggest perks is that free bench programs, all the programs that I believe you see on bigbenches.com, that's all free for VIP members. So I will send that link to you. So if you guys are interested in that, description box for YouTube, Instagram link. That's where you guys listen now. If you listen to the podcast, you can jump on those channels or just go to the website. It's there as well. Let's see. Montel Strickland. What's up, Montel? Bro, I just tried to hit 315 yesterday but failed. Can you give me some advice? I have to see specifically the video again there, my friend. If you want to send it to me, go ahead and DM me that video, and I'll give you some suggestions on where to go from there. But hey, I've tried and failed 315 quite a good amount of times back in the day. Remember the first time I hit 315, the guys actually had to mess with the plates. They didn't put 3 plates on. They actually put like a quarter, 10, and a couple fives or something like that. And that's the first time I hit it. And, I was always striking for 315, just never could get it with the 3 plates. So, yeah, that's something I'll check out if you want to DM me. But 315, I tell you that 3-plate milestone, that's a tough one, my friend. So I wouldn't get too discouraged about it. I'm sure it's just a matter of time. I doubt that you're going to be stuck on that forever. You seem like you're already trying to seek solutions, so you got the right mindset. I think you're gonna freaking blow past 315 in no time. Yeah, at any time, my friend. Really appreciate you joining in. Yeah, Deal says 315 is mentally hard and weird because of the 3 plates. Using many plates can help. You'd like to think that you're not kind of worked up mentally about it, but I guess there is something to the 3 plates. I also think maybe the weight could be a little bit off if it's not calibrated plates, because those 45s aren't always 45. But yeah, it's usually a mental barrier. I've seen that plenty of times where we'll put different plates on for people. We had a woman at the gym who had a hard time with hitting a plate 135 on bench, and so if you put quarter 10 5 5 or something, made some kind of combination up and didn't look like there was a plate on the bench, it just went better time and time again. So there's something to be said for it. You try to think there's not. Well, usually when you go to a competition, you have no idea what the hell's on there. When you get the combos of hundreds or get the combos of kilo plates, different colors and stuff, yeah, you really have no idea when you're going into meet anyway. Matt, what do you like to do for the lateral delts? So I'll usually just do raises, some bodybuilder tricks here or there where you're like on an incline bench slanted, doing the lateral raises. I like mixing in bands, cables if you have them. I always love doing like cable lateral raises, especially like a crossover type of version. But I don't train at any gyms that have like cable machines. I haven't trained in a commercial space for who knows how long. Something I'm looking to do though, I'm actually looking to potentially start going to the Gold's Gym, kind of not far from here. And we also have, very lucky out here, not far from this house, we have Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym. That's like the mecca of the East Coast, and I've definitely trained over there a few times. You see all the big names going there. I mean, The Rock's even trained there. You know, all the big bodybuilders over here always end up in there for photo shoots, all that stuff. So I'm sure you've seen it in magazines. It's an interesting place. It's big dudes, a lot of equipment all meshed in there. Nothing you're not gonna find. Um, but you know, not quite. There's some powerlifters that train out of there, but you know, any type of accessory movements is so awesome to jump on some of those different machines. I think and different implements, much more available to you than just like our little garage space here. So, any more questions coming in, guys? Got some more time? We love to shoot the shit. Want to give the bench code. So anyone listening right now, I have a code to give out. All right, that is good for 20% off our bigbenches.com website till tonight only. All right, it'll be available right after this. And that code is Bench Club. All right, Bench Club, BNCHCLUB, Bench Club. Okay, use that code. You will save 20% off our website. So if you're looking to pick up sleeves, wraps, that new hat I was talking about, the new shirts that I mentioned, any of that, check out bigbenches.com and try to see what you like there and let me know if you want anything. Use that code, Bench Club. All right, guys. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Matt says, if you're talking to a girl online, you tell her your maxes and she is impressed, but then wants to see your abs. What do you do when you have a keg instead of a six-pack? I would embrace it. You're a power lifter, not a bodybuilder. You got to embrace the big belly. You got to embrace the big belly. Yeah, you work hard for that. All right. A lot of whiskey in this belly. You know what I'm saying? Got to build that up. Beer and whiskey. But hey, six packs. Who needs a six pack? I know today, the days now, man, you see some ripped powerlifters though. Man, if times have changed, because back in the day, you know, and it's really a testament to the great nutritional knowledge out there, and you know, seeing that discipline creep into powerlifting as well, and weight classes, and because back in the day, I mean, it was just big dudes. You know, you didn't even think twice about trying to look cut up or nothing. But it's a great blend nowadays. You see these lifters who are not only strong but jacked, and they really live the athlete lifestyle. You know what I mean? Taking care of their bodies, getting the conditioning work in, and all that stuff. So it's great to see that transition. Adam Bell, do you see Tiny's 1,000-pound bench comp for cast? I did see that. That looks awesome. Um, that looks like a awesome event. All the big benchers under one roof. All the guys that I look up to tremendously. So I would love to make sure that check that one out. I got that scheduled down. Man, maybe I'll even go there. That'd be a great opportunity too to chat with some of those guys as well. Maybe do a podcast or you know, shoot some video or whatnot for the vlog. That's definitely something I want to do more of once you know, once we're kind of back to old ways as much as can be, I guess. I want to travel out to different places, you know, train with Jimmy Cobb, and you know, go to these different places, get some filming in. Do some podcasts, something like that. You know, even more so than me training with them. I just want to film what these guys are doing too, and you know, put something together. I really enjoy the video editing stuff. So, what's up, Mike? Thanks for hopping in, my friend. We're just taking a few questions. Any questions or anyone that wants to shoot the shit? Drop your cues below. Not a ton from Instagram stories the other day. So if you want to talk about whatever topics, just let me know. I'm going to be on here for a little bit more. Bobby M, nutritional and anabolic knowledge. I'm not the guy for that, my friend. So sorry to let you down there. GeoPower 50. There's many thoughts on deload. how would you approach the sessions with my maxes, dead 455, bench 285, squat 365, over 50 years old. That's impressive, my friend. Thank you, coach, as always. So with a deload, typically what I'll have our athletes do is, the kind of the setup that we're on now, if you're in a conjugate, sorry, clear my throat a little bit. So if you're on a conjugate style system, the thing that we be deloading, because the speed workout, it's more the volume of what's in there. So usually don't mess with that day too much, because it should already kind of be like a deload. We're not going heavy on those days. It's just a lot in a little bit of time. What we would have to affect is the max effort work, and I've been doing that more like case by case. So with our team, I kind of see their feedback on a regular basis. So it's not like I'm just checking in end of the week, end of the month, or whatever like that. So we're kind of all constantly in communication. I'm watching videos, things like that. So, I have a good idea when they're saying they're beat up, they need a bit of a deload, and usually it's like that max effort slot that we're going to do something to. And, I have the weekly check-ins that we do as well, so I can kind of monitor where someone's feeling in terms of their fatigue and stuff like that. So usually got a good feel on that, because it's not like I'm just checking in with them every month. But that would be the day that we would change, and what we would do is probably what I've been going to, like for shoulder lifters, doing some lighter RAM work and just kind of working what I call like a technique touching day, where you're going really, really light, whether it's your shirt or a RAM or something really tight RAM, and just working on grooving lightweight. Because you really want to be at a point where you can pull down pretty lightweight, groove it correctly, get a good toss back. And the only way to work on that is with lightweight. So it's a perfect opportunity to work those technique type days. And then as a raw lifter, we usually just do some sub-max volume. Nothing crazy. You're just giving yourself a break. And if we're not on a conjugate-based system, that might be a time we throw in some sort of a speed work day or something like that. But that's what I used to do a bit more in the past, was like every third week we would consider doing like speed work then, or some kind of a deload, and then that fourth week was more that testing week. Matt, you feel like pauses at the bottom help your squat as well? Yeah, absolutely. I love pause work. Big fan of pause work, and that's something I've even been in our conjugate style layout. The max effort day. Some of that is a lot of that is paused. And then on speed day, I actually been taking out some of the speed work and putting in more like positional training, just pause squats, just working on all that. Pause deadlifts, I'm a huge fan of too. Because the thing is too, with like a pause squat, you can't, especially if you get heavy with it, there's no way you can pause in the bottom with a shitty position. You're not going to be collapsing here in the bottom and be able to hold that position. So it really defaults you into a position where that weight can balance over your midfoot. There's no additional stress there. You're going to kind of naturally just sort out to the best position. So it's great for just positional awareness for the athlete. So you think, and just in terms of building strength on there too. Absolutely. A lot of benefits, I think, from pause work. Mutani9, how effective are jam presses for a bigger bench? So I've been finding tremendous results lately for me. Just kind of looking at things in whole right now. Been hitting jam presses more regular than I ever have. I used to struggle here getting those 95 pounds on the bar, 100 pounds on the bar. Struggled for reps. The other day I did 185 for 8. A lot of it's just getting familiar with the movement. But as I see that come up, I'm feeling stronger and stronger in my shirt. I hit the other day. What was it? I think it was a single, but a couple weeks back I hit 645 plus 100 band, so 745ish at the top coming out, and I hit that for a really solid single. Missed the one before out of groove, but that was in my looser shirt. So, I've been really liking the results so far. JM presses. It's something that I do with our athletes, and if they haven't done them before, usually you're pretty resistant to them. Same thing with good mornings. Um, but I've found tremendous benefit with them. You just got to give that time to develop them and get a feel for that pattern. I think you can get strong without them. I do think they are a valuable exercise if you can tolerate them. Adam says, I'm hitting a heavy single on bench today. We'll see how I'm feeling about trying for a PR, but wish me luck. That's the right attitude, Adam. I tell our athletes, you got to approach like a max effort, straight weight day. You have to approach that with the right mindset that, you take what the day gives you. Take what the day gives you. An all-time PR, always awesome, but it has to be there. And not every training session is going to allow you the capability to hit an all-time PR. Okay, so in that scenario, taking a weight, sub-max weight that might be just under your PR, and having that move extremely well is a huge success. So it doesn't always have to be more weight on the bar, like I said. So that's a good approach there, Adam. I know you'll been killing it on the bench, so we'll see what happens. But take what you can get. Take what you can get, and then also the other thing I always tell them is take small PRs, especially with our female athletes. I say, hey, fractional plates, nothing wrong with that. All right, getting 1 pound plates, having 1 pound plates, huge thing. Because if you're not quite benching 200 yet, 2 extra pounds, it's a good chunk. That's a good chunk of your bench press right there. 2 extra pounds. You got a 120-pound bench press. That 2 pounds is pretty significant in terms of percentage jump. So fractional plates, especially huge for trying to push it. GeoPower 50, just a throw out to yourself and Matt for recommending. I go wide leg drive on the bench because of my long femurs. Oh boy, it made a huge difference in a major PR last week. Thanks, guys. Really awesome to hear, my friend. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that because you really key in on the hips a lot more, in my opinion, and you don't have as much the issue of your butt rising. That's more controlled by how you're pushing, but I love the hip activation you can get from that, getting tight there, putting that passive tension in the hips, and then actively driving out, and then just the wide base it gives you. I don't think it's as critical for raw lifters, but certainly feel the difference right away as a shirted lifter. So there's that added stability component as well. Beth, what's up, Beth? Thanks for joining in. When I bench heavier and just go quick, it is strong, but when I pause, as might at a meet, I get in my head and struggling to get the weight up. Advice on pause and mindset. So that's a good question. And I know you might have particular issues with pausing, with the pause squats and things like that. But overall, I'd say what I would tell someone normally would be get used to pausing really, really long in training. And to approach that mentally, so I'm thinking of it more as what can we do in training to affect what goes on at the meet. As we just had our athlete Allie, she competed in Virginia this past weekend, and first thing she told me when the bench went down was they held me there long. It felt like a 4-second pause, and it being USAPL and all that, I was telling her in training, I was like, we should get used to really long pauses because USAPL I know notoriously holds you there, and you might be waiting a little bit, so we would do a lot of that in training. That's why I always, if I see a video, I'm really like, let's dial the pauses in more because it makes a huge difference in confidence when you pause so much in training. You go to a meet, it's really no problem. They hold you there, no problem. You're confident. You've trained for that. But in terms of getting yourself, in the right state of mind to do pauses in training, it really comes down to how you're activating your back because that's your stability down there. We don't want that loading in the chest. We want that loading in the back. So having a strong back to do that work, and then knowing how to utilize that. You knowing how to keep that retraction, get in the best retracted position possible, and then how to maintain that activation as you're coming down with the bar. That's really the ticket there with pauses. Kind of like in the squat, right? We need to really feel confident bracing through our hips and core. That's we're not trying to load our quads and be super quad dominant there in the bottom of the squat pause. Right, we would be trying to really create a lot of hip tension. We try to brace real good through our midsection. Same type of thing in the bench press. We want to really have good control with our back. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that all makes sense. Anthony Shaw, would you say it normal for lower thoracic spine to be sore after benching? Um, so you're specifically speaking on lower thoracic, so almost like mid-back. Mid-backish range. Yeah, it can definitely be sore, and if it's a soreness and not a general discomfort or pain, I'd say that you hit the ticket right on the money there. You hit the nail on the head. In other words, um, that's a great sign that you're using your back well. When you feel sore the next day. I love doing a bench clinic or working with someone in person and getting them to use their back in a more effective way, and then they let me know a few days later. They're like, wow, my back was sore after that one, or they're getting lat cramps. All good signs that you're getting that activation that you weren't getting before. So um, I think that would be a good sign, as long as it's not painful or anything like that. Carmen Papaleo. Hey, coach, how many calories do you think a heavy bench workout burns? I'm doing 50 to 100 pounds over my body weight for 1 to 2 hours on a Shako bench routine. I don't know in terms of how many calories. I mean, the thing that affects that probably the most is like the pace that you're working at, the heart rate you're getting to as you're going through accessories and stuff like that. So I'd say that's mostly going to be heavily influenced by your rest periods. If you're resting a shit ton in between everything, it's really not that taxing in terms of caloric burn. But if you're pushing the pace and you're working and doing reps and all that, I'm sure you're burning a lot more. And how much, I really have no idea, but um, I'm sure you're going to be burning a lot more. All right, any more questions popping in, guys? Any more questions popping in? I'll take a few more. Sip of coffee to the working man. Check out on bigbenches.com. A couple new shirts we dropped this past week. Pause Your Reps shirt and the Old School Athletic Big Bench Established 2016 shirt. And the hoodies made some changes. We got on the shirts, we have the little logo on the sleeve now, the right sleeve. It looks really good. And on the hoodies, we got the big logo on the back. So we added some stuff to the other side. So the hoodies before, we just had whatever logo here, but now we have whatever logo and the back side. So it's we've been doing some good stuff with that. And also the shirted course, I want to touch on. Any of you that wear a bench shirt out there, working on getting through this shirted course, and it's a jam-packed just library of everything you need to know to be good at shirted benching. How to wear your shirt, position your shirt, break in your shirt, train with your shirt. All the tips and tricks I could throw at you. Everything is in that course, okay? And if you haven't checked out, go to bigbenches.com, go to courses, online courses. Great opportunity to do them right now, guys. Online education is a huge thing right now, especially with everything going on, just because we're not able to go to as many in-person things, right? So seeking that knowledge, having that clinic atmosphere. We have some products on our website of filmed bench clinics, things like that. But the online courses really key. We got a lot of great courses on our bigbenches.podia.com. Quick link from our website will take you right there. You can check out what we have. Trent, Jeff, great question. Loaded question here, Jeff. What is the number one tip you would give to increase your raw bench? Number one tip. That's tough as a guy that gives out a shit ton of tips. um, if I was given a number one tip, I'd be real directed towards if I knew the person, like what they need to hear. But just in general, I'd say focus on your setup. Say focus on what you can improve in your setup and like give that process a good focus. Because the setup, like I always say, is 80% your bench. It's a good chunk of it. The position that you put yourself in, the activation that you get before the weight comes out of the rack is key. So I'd say focus on your setup, and then we could go down any rabbit holes in there. There's a lot of different things that we could focus on when we're just dialing into the setup, but I would look to do that because even in a commercial gym space for athletes, that bench isn't good. The bench unit is not great, and a lot of things you really need to adjust and do differently for the setup to be on point. So that's my answer to that. Mike Fraser, setup is huge. I would say pausing as well, not bouncing off the chest. That would be my other one, Mike. I almost said that too. Mike's right on point. He knows. Setup is huge. It is everything, and then pausing is huge because everyone usually comes from a touch and go background. That's how we learn to bench press. Unless your first time bench pressing is in the powerlifting gym, and then I'm going to get on you about pausing. But that's huge because you got to practice how you play. And as a power lifter, maybe if you're not a competitive power lifter, have no plans to compete, then it's not a big deal. But pausing as a power lifter is huge because that's what you need to do in the meet. You're practicing how you play. You don't need to pause your squats. You don't need to pause your deadlifts. You need to pause your bench. So you need to be used to that. Eric Salinas, can I add easy volume with push-ups? So I think push-ups are a great thing to do. Especially generally just throughout the day, getting some push-ups in. I think that's great GPP work, general physical preparedness. It's something good to do. I think at some point though, it's not going to have a huge carryover to your bench press like you'd hope. I don't think you can just keep banging out a shit ton of push-ups all day and then constantly see your bench go up. You're going to have to do your benching, but I think it's a great supplement. It's kind of like how supplement your diet. Diet has to be there. Bench training needs to be there. But supplementing it with push-ups, stuff like that, generally helps. So that's how I would think about that. How would you go about trying to increase your bench if you have shoulder impingement? I'm currently stretching and dead hanging. So if you have a shoulder impingement, I'm not super familiar on a host of issues that might cause, so I don't want to give you any direct suggestions there just because I'm not super familiar with shoulder impingement. I would definitely seek someone, PT again, to get some of that help from. Geo Power 50, other than the JM press, what do you like for tricep exercises for the best carryover to bench? P.S. I grabbed a few t-shirts, can't wait till they show up. Appreciate it, my friend. I know you'll love the new gear. Hopefully shipping as soon as possible. I know manufacture was a little bit delayed, but I think everything is running at decent time now. So I hope you love the shirts. Other than the JM press, for triceps, I think any close grip bench work is good. Pin pressing, floor pressing, anything that's really relative to the bench press. But I mean, there's so many things you could do to train triceps that it's hard to pick out any specific ones. I like a straight bar push down. I like rolling dumbbell extensions. I even like dips. I like bench dips more than like station dips, but those can be valuable too. I don't do a ton of those. Any kind of push downs. I love push downs. Banded tape press, I think, is very relative to how you lock out your arms and your benching, hit the triceps. So I love that. I came up with that about a year back. banded tape press. Check that out on our website. That's one that I'll show a lot of people. That one's a great one. So, all great ways. All right, guys. So I'm going to leave it there. Okay. Again, quick word on our VIP membership. Go to bigbenches.com. Check that out. That's a great community of lifters. Everyone on our team is in the membership. It's a bunch of additional content there that you're able to receive. And all bench programs that we have are available free for our VIP members. So definitely check that out. Check out some of the new stuff we got in the bigbenches.com store. I really want to say thank you for everyone who tuned in. And if you enjoyed the podcast, if you get something away from this, just simply share it with a friend. Just let them know, hey, Tuesdays, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. This is going on. Hopefully that helps spread the show to everyone. But yeah, let a friend know. I'll see you guys next Tuesday, and I'm sure we'll have another great show. So I appreciate everyone tuning in. Hope y'all have a great day.